This route begins in Aigues Mortes, crosses the Canal de Rhône Set, and follows the Via Rhône bike path to La Gras de Roix, then along the Mediterranean to La Grande Motte. The route follows the beach on dedicated bike paths to Carnon, then crosses the Canal de Rhône Set and follows the D21 highway to Bourg. Then we follow the Lez River into Montpellier. It's a flat 35-kilometer ride with some technical riding through Carnon and into the center of Montpellier. From our hotel, we made our way through the grid of streets. Then we exit through one of the town portals, the Porte de la Gaudette. From here, it's a left in crosswalks and a bike path, so we can cross a bridge and make an immediate left. After about 1 kilometer, we reach the Via Rhône bike path with the Canal de Rhône Asset to our left. This is really nice and avoids the busy highway. On this summer day, we were in the company of other two-wheeled tourists. Just before reaching central Grande Roix, we negotiate a bridge to take us into the outskirts of Grande Roix, where a marina is home to many pleasure boats. Then we cross another small bridge with pedestrians and cycles on the side. This is a busy resort town, but there are some good paths to follow. One path merges into another, and we had lots of company on the two-way bike track alongside the D255 highway. Just before Grande Motte, we cross a bridge over the Vidora River, where we also cross from the Gard department to the Hérault. Immediately after crossing, we enter La Grande Motte and head toward the beach, or plage as it's called. We then wind through this busy seaside resort. Then it's left onto more cycle paths. Everyone seems to be headed to the beach to our left. It does look tempting. Eventually, the path curves right and uphill before heading straight north with the dune paths to our left. The path goes straight with dunes and peekaboo sea views. When we reach the town of Carnon, we follow marked cycle tracks through neighborhoods. This bird's eye view shows where our ride becomes quite technical. While a direct bike lane was under construction, our plan was to use existing roads to ride beneath the expressway and around a boat moorage and up a ramp to the D21 highway. Then we used a crosswalk, walked our bikes to the lane on the opposite side, and continued over the Canal de Rhône Set, all the way to Montpellier. Here is how it looks from ground level. We pass beneath the D62 highway, then through a parking lot adjacent to boat moorage. We end at a disused bridge over the Étang-Loire waterway. We walked our bikes across the bridge to the road on the other side. This road leads to a ramp that goes up to the D21 on the northbound side. Right direction, but no bike lane. There's a 2-lane bike track on the other side of the highway, so we went to the nearest crosswalk and rode beside the highway. We are going directly northwest toward Montpellier, following the course of the D21 highway on well-signed two-way cycle tracks for the next 8 kilometers. In this section, the tram tracks are on our right. There are a lot of roundabouts on this highway and eventually bicycle tracks on both sides. Before leaving Perrault, the bike tracks cross to the opposite side of the road, but still following the D21. We are now on the east side of the highway as we get closer to our planned turn away from the D21. At this intersection, we need to go back across the D21. Fortunately, there are bike tracks on both sides of the highway. Then we continue to the north with the D21 on our right. After nearly 1 kilometer, and just after passing under a bridge, we turn left and the path will take us to the Lez River, where we continue northbound. This leads us to a nice pedestrian cycle bridge over the Lez. Then we follow the road under the building and continue straight. We're heading to the large Place de Comédie. About a half kilometer from our destination, we need to follow this underpass on Avenue du Pont Jovenel. No bike lane here, so to be safe, we rode the sidewalk. On the other side, it's a short 200 meters to Place de Comédie, the bustling cultural center of Montpellier and the location of our hotel. Our walking tour takes us from Place de Comédie, past a memorial to resistance martyrs, then along Boulevard Rue Foch to the Peru Arc de Triomphe, through the scenic Peru Gardens that lead to the Chateau d'Eau that overlooks Saint-Clement Aqueduct, which carried water from the source of the Lez River for 14 kilometers into Montpellier. The centerpiece of Place de Comédie is Trois Grâces, a neoclassical fountain that represents 3 characters from Greek mythology and dates from the second half of the 18th century. Hidden among the streets in the old quarter, the town's stately Gothic cathedral, Saint-Pierre, is distinguished by its conical towers. It dates back to 1364. The Promenade de Peru is at the highest part of Montpellier. It can be accessed through this triumphal arch. This square was designed during the reign of Louis XIV, whose likeness is shown on horseback extending his arm towards Spain. On the opposite end of the square is the 18th century Chateau d'Eau, a monumental water tower fed by the Saint-Clement Aqueduct. On Sundays, there's a flea market beneath the arches of the aqueduct, which is modeled after the legendary Pont de Garde.